Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Screen Talk, where we discuss about film theory and the topics that are involved. I'm your host, Annabella Partridge, and the topic we are going to talk about today is media representation with our special guest, the director of Mulan 2020, Nikki Carroll.
Hi, thank you for having me on your podcast.
So, make sure you listen all the way through for the interview towards the end of the episode. What is media representation? Media representation is the aspects of reality such as places, locations, gender, age and ethnicity, social group, so that it shapes the audience knowledge and understanding of a certain topic. Media representation has topics such as stereotyping, underrepresentation and countertyping. Now you are probably wondering, what does those mean? We will tell you. Stereotyping is a set of ideas that people have about someone or something is like. Stereotyping can cause issues with media representation in film because mostly it's negative stereotyping and can lead to the audience making assumptions about that certain element such as race, age or gender. Countertyping is a positive stereotype that emphasizes the positive features of a person or place. Underrepresentation is when this is a clear unbalanced representation of a thing. In media representation there are elements that are represented. These are characters, gender, age, religion, ethnicity, nationality, social issues, events, places, cultural identities, behaviour, sexual orientation and social groups. With these elements of representation I am going to discuss some in further detail. The first representation we have is gender. Gender where male characters are portrayed as masculine type, strong, and females are portrayed as frail and damsels in distress. An example of gender being stereotyped in a film is Grease. The character Sandy is portrayed as a beautiful, kind woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. Throughout the film we are shown that Sandy is mostly seen wearing a lot of feminine colours such as skirts, dresses, sweaters, sets, and the colours these clothes are bright pastel yellows and pink. An example of a countertype is Mulan, because she focuses on giving a specific idea of women's role in the world of men. In the film Mulan, she fights against what women must be, so she goes off into the army in place of her father, fighting against her country's conditions. Mulan is a strong character who follows her heart and takes charge of her own destiny and doesn't leave it to a man to decide what she can be. Another representation is age, where in most films the elderly is depicted as vulnerable and teenagers are depicted as antisocial and thoughtless. Ha, me. Examples of stereotyping in film Mean Girls, Regina George is portrayed as a rich, popular teenager who can control her destiny and thinks she can control other people and her friends by manipulating people around her into giving her exactly what she wants. She can manipulate her parents by giving her everything she desires. She can also control other people's relationships. And that sounds like someone I know. The countertype is The Maze Runner. The movie is about a group of teenagers that wake up in a completely different place with no adults whatsoever. So they would have to rely on each other if they wanted to survive. So instead of lying around being antisocial, they come up with a plan where they have designed runners who search for an escape route and return before nightfall. The other teenagers are designated to finding food, prepping food, and other survival skills. This is what they should be in real life. The third element of representation is social groups. Social group focuses on power and equality. Media encourages audience to aspire to be a wealthy, upper class, middle class, working class lifestyle by working hard, ignoring the cause of poverty and equality. Examples of these social groups is shown in a stereotypical way is the Berling family and expect to kill. posh, where they are portrayed as upperclassmen, people who live in a big house of expensive clothing, furniture and servants, such as cooks and maids. They do not cook whatsoever. They have high-working companies such as factories, and have working-class women, which show that they have all the money from the women spending on expensive jewelry and clothes. The counter-type of this social group is in the film Knives. Out of the family, they are very wealthy and want to find out who killed their family member. They instantly blame the housekeeper, who is a working-class woman, who later finds out who really killed Harlan Thrombey. She learns that the family was up to some shady business, such as cheating and stealing. In this movie, it shows the housekeeper's representations in the family social group. The final representation is ethnicity, which is formed by the media. Although overreaction is rare, mainstream media, non-white people remain underrepresented, and stereotypes and negatively portrayed are common. An example of ethnicity being used in stereotypical ways is in the film Lady and the Tramp, where the Siamese called Si and Anne, which are presented as sleek and elegant cream-coloured felines that have angled, wedged faces. They have large blue eyes, are oval-shaped and slanted, and they also have bucked teeth, which are commonly used for Asian stereotypes. The use of their positions that they are usually in gives us the idea that they are sinister, sneaky, and mischievous, like all cats are. The counter-type of ethnicity used in the film Black Panther, which focuses on the positive portrayals on African Americans. By making a movie, it gives us a different perspective on what our views are. The filmmakers consulted with experts on the religion of Africa that Wakanda was supposed to be in the movie. This is so they could give the audience a feeling of multiple different tribes that are shown within the movie. This movie also shows us that the main character is intended to be positive and strong hero, going against the negative stereotypes they are usually known for. Now that we have discussed the element of media representation, for today's episode on The Point, it's time to welcome the director of 2020's Mulan, Nikki Caro, to Screen Talk. Welcome! Woo! She is here to answer some questions on how the different elements of representation are presented in the film. Hi, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me on your podcast, Screen Talk.
So, you directed the 2020 remake of Mulan, and I have a couple of questions about gender.
Yes, ask away.
The first question I have is, does the film Mulan break gender roles?
The movie demonstrated how women in those days were expected to marry and become housewives. But Mulan broke that gender type by proving that women can be tough and endure the pain by disguising herself as a man, challenging the idea of what makes a man.
Why did she decide to break the gender roles?
She decided to break the gender roles to show people that she was worthy, and also to show herself that she was worthy, as she lost herself. This is clear in the song Reflection, as the lyrics said, why is my reflection someone I don't know? And that suggests that she has lost who she is and she wants to find herself. And she just wanted to know what she wanted to do, because she didn't want to be matched with someone. She didn't want to succumb to stereotype like being matched up and getting married. Becoming a housewife, as she felt she didn't fit that role. And she didn't fit that type of role the women were portrayed to be. And with going to war for her dad shows that she wanted to do something different. She wanted to show herself and other people that she was worthy, and that she doesn't have to be what other people want her to be.
However, stereotypes are shown towards the end of the film. Why do you think that is?
All throughout, Mulan makes sure to defeat stereotypical views, but near the end, the mission is abolished. I think the way that Disney succumbs to stereotypes is disappointing, as the film as a whole was empowering for women. However, I understand that it is a Disney film and a happy ending full of romance is necessary. The ending, however, but the ending was disappointing in a female empowerment sense, but it was a form of hope and escapism for a lot of people.
Well, that's all the time we have for today on Screen Talk. Make sure to follow my socials at Screen Talk for you and our special guest socials at Nikki Carroll. Stay tuned for episodes every week where we will talk about more topics of film theory with more special guests along the way. This has been Annabella Partridge and our guest speaker Nikki Carroll.
Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Screen Talk and I hope to see you again. Bye!